My name is Sean Williams, and this is my voiceover on differentiated reading. So to me, differentiated reading is starting off with a pre-assessment to determine students' needs, whether it's to help them if they're struggling to read or challenging students who exceed the standards that we have set. Once we've done that, we will then assess students upon the measured goals that we have made. Things that I knew from the video, that every learner is different, meaning that when you take the approach to teach them reading, that you can't teach student A the same way you teach student B most of the time. That teachers need a lot of prep and professional development to have a differentiated instruction. It's not something you can do overnight and just have it work. And then I learned this from one of my favorite internet teachers, that you need to use children's interests to engage them in reading, that they're not just going to necessarily want to do what you give them, but it helps to do that if you know what they like to do. Things that surprised me were the long-term immersion, how long it takes and how much effort it needs for this to be successful is a little, one, surprising and two, daunting almost. It's scary to think about how much time you need to put into it, that you don't want to practice things that the students already know. That it confused me, I think, because you think you want to hammer in things they're good at so they become the best they can at them, but I can also see how it might be counterproductive to just keep doing things that the students already know how to do. And then this one was a really big surprise to me, with the ESL learners being able to use their language to demonstrate and scaffold to help teach English, like using things they know about their language and showing them that it's the same for English to help bridge that gap between the two languages. Some takeaways that I have were that teachers that make it work, that are positive, optimistic, and prepared, that means to me that they always come with lots of things planned, and they're always going to stay on top of everything, whether it be getting work done or just having positive energy so those students have positive energy. Another one is that the students want to be challenged, and teachers who are successful find a way to do it, and they know how to go just a step above what the students are doing. So you don't want to challenge students too much, to the point where it becomes more of a chore than something they want to try and do. And then the teachers are the most important resource. You got to take care of your teachers when doing this kind of stuff, because it is stressful. And if you're not giving them the resources they need, they become a resource that's hard for administrators and schools to find. Things I want to know more about, the first one definitely being pull-out remediation. It is something that has always kind of made me have a deeper thought about, I guess. It's weird because, like, let's say you pull a kid out for reading and you're pulling them out during science. Well, reading plays a huge role in science as well, but so what are they losing from science that is so important they get in reading? Well, reading is obviously a huge part of a child's learning, because you want everyone to be literate, and without the literacy you can't do science. But where is the line drawn between what's helpful and what's detrimental to the rest of their education? The next one was having parent tutors in the classroom. What kind of vetting process do they go through? How do you know that they're going to teach the same things you want to teach? And what kind of freedoms are they given when they're tutoring the students? Is there nepotism, stuff like that? And then this is the biggest one for me, is getting better with differentiated instructions while your students change every year. They say that it takes years of practice. It's one of the guys in the video said 5 to 10 years to become a proficient instructor with differentiated instruction. But how does that work while playing into that your students change every year, thus students' needs change every year? And granted, I'm sure every now and again you're going to get students that have similar needs from year to year, but it's not a guarantee. And I want to know how difficult it is to practice that with it changing every year. Thank you for listening to my slideshow.